Okay, ready.
On behalf of Nandini Voice for the Deprived, a Chennai, India-based social welfare organization, I have great pleasure in extending hearty welcome to every one of you. We propose to discuss as to when would Tibet get liberated from China's aggression and how it would happen. In 1950s, China fraudulently and falsely claimed that Tibet was part of China, which is not true. Tibet has been an independent country for several centuries with its own traditional practices, with its own philosophy, and with its own method of governance. When China entered Tibet using its mighty military force, there were protests from Tibetans, and China ruthlessly massacred the protesting Tibetans and it tried to eliminate them with all the force at its command. In the process, the respected Dalai Lama has no alternative other than leaving Tibet along with his followers. Several hundreds of Tibetans left China and either migrated to India or to other countries across the world. Now, China has been trying to consolidate its hold over Tibet for the last 70 years. This has not been successful. On and off, we find that Tibetans are still protesting. It is reported there are 100 Tibetan monks have immolated themselves protesting against China's illegal occupation. Now, China is holding Tibet as an iron curtain. It is not permitting any foreigners to visit Tibet. Obviously, it shows that China has more to conceal than reveal as far as Tibet is concerned. Now, why this kind of scenario has happened where China has successfully occupied Tibet with the international community keeping nearly silent? When China occupied Tibet in 1950s, one country which ought to have protested was India. Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, who is a known and reputed historian himself, just kept silent when China occupied Tibet. He did not protest. When he did not protest, it obviously means that he gave approval for China's occupation of Tibet. This is the first sin that was committed by India against the Tibet. India sinned against Tibet. Again, in 2003, when another Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, was holding office, who was a long-standing politician with repute, he signed an agreement with China approving China's occupation of Tibet. This was the second sin committed by India against Tibet in favor of China. Now, having committed two sins, first in 1950s by Jawaharlal Nehru, and then again in 2003 by Atal Bihari Vajpayee, India is paying the price. For the sin it committed, India is now facing big problem with China. Now, China's ambition, when it entered Tibet, was clearly evident. China has definite territorial expansion ambitions. It has ambition to dominate the world by foul or fair means and emerge as a superpower. Occupation of China by Tibet was the first step in China's ambition to become the world power by occupying or forcibly bringing other countries to its rule or subjugating the other countries. Now, having sinned against Tibet by India, India is paying the price today. Now, while India largely remained silent till now about Tibet's occupation by China, though thousands and thousands of Indians are feeling sad and feeling hurt that India has not exercised its authority by protesting against China, situation is no better in other parts of the world. USA also, a democratic country which claims great credentials for ensuring the freedom of people, has also largely remained silent. USA has been paying lip sympathy to Tibet. That is a fact. It has allowed Tibetans to live in the US It allowed Tibetan associations to exist in Tibet. USA seems to think that this is enough. Now, only meaningful step that was taken by USA was when President Trump was in power as the president of USA, when he, in 2020, Tibetan Policy and Support Act was enacted by President Trump successfully. Unfortunately, President lost the election, and nobody is talking about his act now in USA. The next president, Joe Biden, has remained silent, and it is not clear whether flight of Tibet in his mindset at all. Now, what is the ground reality? The biggest victim of China's aggression today, apart from Tibet, is India. China considers India as an enemy, whereas it considers America as a competitor. China really does not consider America as an enemy, whereas it considers India as an enemy. It is considering India as an enemy because India is the first country where China would like to subjugate in a target to achieve international control. It has already subjugated countries like Pakistan, North Korea. It is trying to seek control over Afghanistan now. And China has aggressively conducted economic aggression against several countries by extending huge debt for them under the OBAR scheme. And countries like Sri Lanka has already been a victim of China's economic aggression. Now, given this scenario, China believes that unless India is subjugated effectively, China cannot become the world superpower, which China clearly knows. Now, India's security, India's survival depends on how effectively and competently India is able to checkmate China in the coming years. How to do this? India had done two sins, again 1950 and again 2003, by virtually approving China's occupation of Tibet. It has undone the sin today. What India needs to do today is tell China in clear terms that China cannot have its own way. India has the strength, capacity, and endurance to resist China. How to make China understand this? Only way of doing this is India should recognize Tibet immediately. India should recognize the Tibetan government in exile as the legitimate representative of the people of Tibet. If India does that, what would happen? Nothing would happen. China has already done enough damage to India. Of course, China will protest, make abusive language against India, and try to cross Indian territory, again, which is already doing. China has already done enough damage to India. In 1962 war, China occupied thousands of kilometers of Indian territory, which it is still holding. It is abusing India in every international forum. And several initiatives of India have been thwarted by China in various areas. Now India is having a tremendous problem because of the terrorist attacks. China is virtually supporting the terrorist international area by probably silently supporting some of the terrorist groups in India. This is all known fact. So there's nothing that China could do more than this harm that it has already done to India. China is now claiming that Arunachal Pradesh in India is a part of China's territory. Again, this is an unacceptable argument, and India is bound to resist. India has to resist if it has to face the onslaught from China. So the fact that China would fear that in case India would recognize Tibet, then China would go to war with India is absolutely not realistic. It is not unlikely to happen. China knows that it cannot conduct a war with India. If it conducts a major war with India, to subjugate India, it will definitely become an international global war, which China cannot tackle. China doesn't want it. China has been trying to get into Taiwan by constantly threatening that it will take over Taiwan, but it's never done. Once in a way, it sends its aircraft into Taiwan's territory, creating a fear and creating a claim. Nothing more it is doing. China is claiming that it is some part of South China Sea is its own territory, only area, which again, beyond it, China has not done anything. When recently British ship violated the China's what China calls its own territory in South China Sea, nothing China could do except protest. If China would take a war, and if India would become subjugated, then the world will find a situation where China becomes unstoppable. Nobody will like this because China is a very unpopular country today in the international area. It has a problem with several countries today. It has a problem with Philippines. There's a problem with South Korea. There's a problem with Japan. There's problem in Vietnam and several other countries. It has virtually conducted economic aggression in several Asian and African countries and subjugated them economically. They are all wondering how they are going to get rid of China's control. So this is a fact today. And here in this situation, if there is going to be a big war between India and China, USA, West European countries cannot remain silent, cannot remain unconcerned about it. Because if India gets subjugated due to war with China, next victim will be the United States and Europe. They know it. It is bound to have, they are bound to resist, they are bound to interfere. Recent Quad agreements between India, USA, Japan, and Australia is indication of the fact that other countries are willing to resist China. And if India were to be affected by China, the other countries know that they will have to interfere. China knows this very much. So China cannot go to war with India. Today, until recently, India has been trying to buy peace with China by appeasing China in variety of ways. Prime Minister Narendra Modi invited Chinese president to India, gave him a grand welcome, thinking that this would bring peace with China. But China's ambitions are different. China's goal is different. It is ruthless. So all these ambitions or policy of India to appease China to win peace has not been successful, will never be successful. Now India has realized it, Indian people have realized it. There's an increasing feeling in India that India has to resist China. And the best way of resisting China is to recognize Tibet. When India recognizes Tibet, there are two big advantages for India. Number one, it will clear its conscience of sinning against Tibet by approving China's occupation of Tibet. Number one. Number two, it will restore the international conscience that a country has been wrong. Tibet has been wrong. Tibet people have been silenced. Tibet people have been massacred by China. Now that has to be done, redemption has to be done for this. And that can happen only by liberating Tibet. Now, if India recognizes Tibet, it is not that next day China is going to vacate Tibet. Nothing is not going to happen. But what will happen is, it will create a new climate where one country has recognized Tibet. The world will become awake and realize that Tibet has been wrong. One by one, slowly, other countries will start recognizing Tibet. This will become an irreversible path as far as Tibet is concerned. Sooner or later, perhaps sooner than later, you will find a scenario that Tibet liberation become the talk of the world. And in the process, Tibet liberation would start. Today, what is happening? There are Tibetans living in Tibet who have not seen the respect of the Dalai Lama. China has been systematically trying to brainwash the Tibetans by forcing them to learn Chinese, by avoiding Tibet language to be taught by the people, and trying to kill the spirit of Tibetans. But there are Tibetans living around the world, again, who have not seen Tibet. Some of them may not have seen the respected Dalai Lama also, but they all are craving for the day when Tibet will see the liberation. So where China has been, in spite of trying for the last 70 years, it has not been successful in killing the spirit of Tibet. It shows volume, it speaks volume about the spirit of Tibetans, their faith in their homeland, their strength of their philosophy, and the world need to salute Tibetans for enduring the aggression of China for such a long time. India has to set the ball rolling by recognizing the Tibet. Is the first step in this strategy on this path of getting a liberation from Tibet and from China. And this serves two purposes. China will be clearly told that India cannot be taken for granted, and India will resist, number one. The world will realize that Tibet has been wrong, and some of the countries will see an opportunity to teach China a lesson, which has been making claim about other countries' territories in South China Sea and other places. Now, will India take the lead is the question. Indian opinion wants this to happen. There is a huge swell of sympathy for Tibetans in India, and Indians should make it. Only thing is, the present Indian government has the courage of confidence and conviction to act in this matter as per the conscience, as per the need for peace, and keeping in mind the international amity and cooperation, where no country should be allowed to be wronged by another country simply because it has a military power or economic might. And one more thing I would like to point out here, this is about the Tibetans. About the Buddhists. There are reportedly 535 million Buddhists around the world, in countries like Sri Lanka, Cambodia, China itself, Thailand, and several other countries are there. Now, what are these Buddhists doing? Tibet is a great Buddhist country with enormous tradition. It is upheld to the value philosophy of Lord Buddha with very, very elegantly. Now Tibet has been wrong. But Tibet has been wrong in a defeat for Buddhism, concept of Buddhism. Why are the Buddhists around the world are keeping silent? This is something the Buddhists around the world should introspect. As a matter of fact, one of the leading Buddhist countries, namely Sri Lanka, went to the extent of denying the visa to the Dalai Lama, simply fearing that China would be unhappy about this. This shows that make one suspect whether Buddhists lack sense of pride in their religion, in their practices, and in what I call as the great Buddhist philosophy. Buddhists should stand united. The cause of Buddhism should be upheld. This can be done only by Buddhists ensuring and supporting the cause of Tibet and for the liberation of Tibet. Thank you.